had a good time revisiting it for sure. It just literally felt refreshing to go back and watch it. Well, folks, a special sort of like Pops Talk type series that I'm doing is best films of the half decade. This guy kind of beat me to the punch, and I told him, I said, I was working on the list and clips and stuff like that. He put his video out there. The overlap is going to be very clear. We have a lot of the similar interests, I think. But I thought he needs to be the guy I bring in the room here to talk about the one film in particular, where we're probably two of the folks that are in our circles who are talking about this film at least, consistently enough. So, JV, my friend, how you been? What's going on?
I've been good. I had a very busy weekend in the world of pro wrestling, which is going to dominate my talk on Wednesday night. And I had a live reaction with Ego right after the show. So where we kind of got into our feels and just gave our initial gut reaction. Wednesday we go into more depth, and after watching it for the second and third time, I've got some glaring problems with a lot of the creative of professional wrestling nowadays, much like we've had glaring problems with Hollywood the last few days. But like in my video, in the last half decade, there have been some standout films that have just been very, very well done.
Yeah, and I think that, I responded to your video, and I've been working on this list. I've had some chit chats. I've pre-recorded another video that will drop as well. That there are movies that are sort of like really, really good, but I don't know what are 10, like what are like top of all time. And I think that there can be emotional bonds to things, but I think most of them have like caveats to them. They're still not best of class and not in a historical perspective. So examples would be, I think, like Spider-Man No Way Home. It may be the last great superhero film that we've had. So, it's like that, Top Gun Maverick is probably the most rewatchable film. It's like super fun. It still pulls all those heartstrings. It still gets you there, right? RRR has been a special one that you talked about. I've talked about others. It's like it was our gateway film into Indian cinema. It kind of felt like a Western film and nice amalgam of a lot of their traditions into something that was more digestible for us. Yes. But even that, Zax and I discussed this film, and we had to admit that not only is it niche and not for everybody, the foreign film issue, subtitle issues, it's got a weird sort of like vibe dance with numbers. The folklore stuff like, but their dance numbers, at least in RRR, works better than most of their other films.
True.
But with that said, and I don't know if you had seen this one, we both had seen Sardar Udham, which is a much more.
I think I started to watch. I think I started to watch that, and I just couldn't get through it. There was another Indian film like gaining super powers from like the animals and nature, and I watched it because the gal who is the Indian star in RRR was in that film as well.
Sardar Udham is a really heavy, hard film to watch. It's sort of like an uber Oscar drama type film, kind of like a Hacksaw Ridge, Saving Private Ryan thing, but it's a long build up. But when you get there, you're in it, and it is really, so it's kind of like Saving Private Ryan in reverse. You have all this build up, you have all this stuff going on, building this character, this journey. But again, rooted in real life, rooted in actual history. But is this stuff the best of all time? So a film we want to talk about today is one that's kind of really overlooked. It was one of my top films. 2022 has aged very, very well. You said it in your video. I have to agree. Of the 5 years, 20, well, technically 6 years, I guess, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6 years. It's probably the best year in that it has those really close to great. And I say great, meaning this is a 10. They're the classics. This is the, these are the movies, in my opinion, that are on the list that I've talked about, mentioned just now, and others. They're like the 9s. These are the 9s and the 9.5s. They're still real watchable. You're going to get into this. What I think for the menu we're going to have fun talking about is it seems like every time I see it, I pick up new things. Every time I try to Google and get down the rabbit hole, I have greater appreciation for this screenplay. There's so many more metaphors and allegories and references and things that you don't really get because you're caught up in the moment. Right. And that makes for a great, great script. Is there anything kind of high level like that you could say as far as praising of this film that's kind of has surprised you the most about rewatching it so many times last? Yeah.
This film kind of, for me, flew under the radar. I had heard of it. It was a video from Critical Drinker, where he had really high praise for this film. And if Drinker says something is good, I'm going to give it a little more attention than I would if someone else does.
The Menu, a kind of satirical horror movie set in an exclusive restaurant run by a homicidal chef determined to take revenge against the people who destroyed his love of cooking. I know it sounds kind of weird, and well, it is, but it's also a brilliantly tense and insightful look at entitlement and ego, the dangers of elevating a profession to the point of absurdity, and how we can and should experience artistic endeavors.
For me, the high point was the dynamic between Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy. I mean, those two bounced off each other so well, and Anya Taylor was every bit Ralph Fiennes' equal. There was never a scene where he was clearly like chewing the scenery up and she was getting left behind. She commanded every scene she was in.
Yeah, this also made me realize that she has done a lot of work that I have not seen, and that's unfair because I don't think I've ever seen her in anything that I would criticize her of. A movie that's been maybe subpar, I haven't enjoyed. I've never watched her Furiosa movie. I'm not sure I can.
It's take it or leave it.
Yeah, and I did not see some of her other films, and that's kind of criminal because everything I have seen of her has been impressive.
Yes,
and it is.
She was in two of a director who I really like, Robert Eggers. She was in two of his films, The Northman and The Witch. Both are excellent.
Yeah, he's also grown on me as well. I'm really become a fan of his as well. I think that on that short list of great films of this half decade, I would also include Nosferatu, even though I also consider that to be very niche because I feel like it's too edgy for casual horror viewing. It's also kind of so offbeat and off kilter from even like the Nosferatu and Dracula myths. Like some people won't like, so it just feels like it's also a niche film. Another one that I would say in that same category, it's a 10 among that'd be Godzilla -1. It's a 10 for a Godzilla film. But are Godzilla films the best sci-fi of all time? Or the best monster movie? Now it might be on the top 10 of monster movies, but it would be tricky, right? But sci-fi, probably not. Doesn't even make the top 10 of sci-fi. So it's tricky. These movies, incredibly watchable, fun, and The Menu is that.
Tonight will be madness.
Welcome to Hawthorne.
This is insane.
You shouldn't be here.
This is real, isn't it?
What the heck is going on? Something special.
I love you all.
We're gonna die tonight. Come on, we can't miss this.
Who's hungry?
The Menu in theaters November 18.
I think if you've never seen this, you're going to have a great time with it. Nicholas Hoult, I didn't want to totally exclude him. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. Because he's asked here to basically play kind of
the bad
irritating. Guy. Yeah, he's sort of... Okay, so each character, we can briefly touch on some of their metaphors and allegories as we go through them. They represent different pieces to this story. It starts right here. Right. So, right. And we're going to see Tyler, that's Nicholas Holt's character, and his date, Margot. They're going to this remote island where this chef is going to be hosting this dinner for the uber wealthy. You have some back and forth with them before we start seeing a lot of the other folks get off the boat. And you have just a really nice ensemble cast of characters. I want to back up just a little bit here because there's a great couple shots. We do briefly get to see the maitre d', Elsa, who is just a star of the show in the first
absolutely 20.
Great. Yeah. And what a great character who doesn't really get like a monologue. She just has moments.
One-liners.
And,
one-liners, basically.
We don't.
We gel.
Yeah, we don't really get her backstory. We don't know why she's so committed to this chef and this adventure that they're putting everybody through, but that's what it is. So in this go ahead.
I also love just her, very dry just very dry delivery of every line she gives. It is the same cadence. It's the same tone. She does not break character at all.
100%. I mean, you will fall in love with her character in that first 20, 25 minutes because she has so many of those moments where she's putting each character. So let's again, broad strokes with characters. You have 3 tech bros. They're finance guys that turn out to be tied to the chef's angel investor, but they're arrogant, nasty tech bro stereotypes. You have this old couple who is now like on their 11th trip, I guess, but no one can barely afford to go to this place, let alone once, let alone going multiple times. So they're so uber wealthy. They're there again. He's there with his wife. Then you have a food critic and the publisher of a magazine. So these are the
sycophant. The sycophant.
Yeah.
Sycophant. Biome of culinary ideas.
Right, like it functions like an Epicurean salon.
No, I like biome better, I think.
Nutty critics, like the crazy critics. I thought of Ratatouille a little bit with that kind of like that stereotype of that food critic that you get from there. Then of course you could see briefly, I don't think I have that shot, I moved past it, but there was a shot. Oh, there's a great shot of Elsa. We'll bring her up again here in a second. George is played by John Leguizamo, and he has an assistant that's brought along with him. George is the has-been talentless hack Hollywood uber star, do you know who I am kind of guy back in the day who makes now crappy movies. His persona in some way, shape, or form is definitely based on Steven Seagal, as I've learned, which kind of totally fits. Totally. Yes. If you know the Steven Seagal stories, you totally get it. Yeah. So that was interesting. And then I think what you get is just incredible performances out of like the minutia. So just to circle back to Elsa, she's introducing them, therefore us, the audience, through the island where we're going around and we're seeing how they grow and harvest everything themselves. You get to see, where the meat is being stored and aged. You have their ignorance on full display, answering questions that some of the people in the audience might be asking, like, why do you do certain things? Or how does this work? It is the perfect way to handle all the exposition that you need without having to have an exposition dump. I think this is one of the greatest introductions. There's so much happening, and we get in just a few minutes. It's phenomenal.
And then let's not forget our two main characters in the ensemble here. We got Tyler, who is the food fanboy, and Margot, who isn't supposed to be there, but she kind of represents us.
Yep.
Now the normal people, the normies, I guess.
It's totally fair. She is her story and her plight is something that we'll unpack a little bit. We're not into heavy spoilers or anything like that at this point. I will definitely let you guys know when we start to shift into something that might be a lot more heavy spoilery. There's a quick moment early on where Tyler has switched dates. She's a different name on that list, and that kind of matters later on. And you see her demeanor just kind of show she's out of place. Like she's totally like, why is everybody all freaking out over some of these? Like she's just totally not getting it.
And you can see the maitre d' is visibly annoyed when early on it's like, oh, you're not so and so.
Yep. And we don't get why, but we see a little bit, and then we see moments repeatedly where Tyler is, there's a term, parasocial is a term for people who just like just almost like just bond. It would be like you mentioned critical drinker. It would be like, when you do content, especially for somebody like that who's gotten into the millions and millions, right?
Oh, right.
People will start to feel like they know you, they know things about you, they'll interact, and it becomes almost like unhealthy. It can get too far. Like they think of you as like a friend, and you don't know who they even are. Like it's different than like you and I who've been doing content this whole time, and we've bonded over this friendship and like-mindedness that we have. But with some people that are in our audience, if you call it that, that may not be the case. We just need to see their name or whatever, but they could come up to us. We would never know who they are, and they just interact. So Tyler, is very important in the story because he's not only got that obsession with Chef himself, who's at the top of this game. he's obsessed with this concept. He's obsessed with being a foodie and food preparation, being a cook. He calls out ingredients. He's calling out techniques. He's arrogantly
the pocket jet is this scene right here.
Yeah,
and he's really trying to show off to Margot here that he's part of this world.
Yeah, that's a very good point. He's trying to pretend that he's part of this world through his knowledge, not his skill, not his blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? He can just learn through a book, and that's what you know.
A YouTube video.
Yeah, right. And you contrast that with like the food critic, who is so, oh man, I don't even know. Like the Ratatouille one was the only one I could think of off the top of my head, because I don't really.
I loved her and I hated her at the same time.
Well, you're supposed to hate her, right? So she's doing such a great job as a performer. You're supposed to hate her. She is so nasty as a food critic. She's literally, there's a line where she makes up a word. It sounds like she's saying like Vlasic, like the Vlasic pickle or something. But she's I think she's saying it with a th sound, like Thalassic, or she's just making up nonsense.
Flavors are there. It's very clean. It's very thalassic.
Thalassic?
Oceanic. Thalassa was the primeval spirit of the sea.
Thalassa and Pontos.
I know, we talk about this with media in general because of like the New York Times smarminess, that sort of nasty sneering down your nose at you. Yeah, elitism. Oh, yeah.
And then the guy for the magazine that she's doing this article for is just agreeing with everything she is saying and just building her up and building her up and building her up every time. And it's no wonder she views herself in this way, because she surrounds herself with just yes men.
You literally just can't believe, because his name is Paul Edelstein.
Right.
He plays Ted, and Ted is like the most annoying version of a suck up.
Yes,
where he'll even say more inane things than she's saying. Like she's already saying like ridiculous things, and then he'll try to be like he's trying to counter, right? And he just sounds like a buffoon. So you have these layers and layers of all this critique going on in this early sequence, and then you're getting brief elaborations on each character as you go.
Right.
I think what is interesting is how much each character kind of hates the other. Oh, this was a funny little moment, by the way. So you have this moment first with George and his assistant, and
yes.
There is a race to the intellectual bottom in this film. Like, who's the dumber of the human beings in this room? George is so dumb. This is, I'll say spoilery, but it's about their tension between the two of them. So this might ruin a little bit of the gag, but I apologize, because it doesn't ruin any plot elements or anything like that.
No.
She's trying to leave him as an assistant.
Yes.
Like she's ready to resign. Throw the phone on the desk, the whole thing. And then he's like, I tried to trash you so you couldn't go. And she's like, yeah, I know, you CC'd me on that. Like, he's so retarded that he can't even, it is incredible. Like I said, race to the bottom of the low intelligence, the arrogance, the elitism. It's insanely fun seeing all these caricatures presented.
In that exchange, she knows what he did. He knows what she did. They both are just undermining each other the entire time. They just have this history of just, I'm going to screw you over. Well, you tried to screw me over, so I'm going to screw you over. I know you did this, so I did this. I know you did this. That's why I did this. It's a very, I hate to use the term, but it's a very toxic, the working relationship that those two have.
100%. And it feels like also the ostrich syndrome too. Like, I'm going to ignore the toxic behavior that the other person's having towards me. And you don't know exactly how is it being reciprocated around. Is she doing it because he's doing it to her? It's like a chicken and egg but it's happening, right? And then we have these moments where all this is happening. And then you have these moments where you out there in the audience, you're going to be included again, right? Because I've never been to this high end of a restaurant. I've been only a few that were even sort of higher end, not my bag anyway. I can't imagine going to a restaurant where they'd serve me that much food. I would just, my wife totally knows that I would just be like, he has no desire. Like, going to weddings stresses me out, Joker, Going to a wedding stresses me out. Like, what am I going to be
eating?
I don't want to go, it would be awful, god awful. So we have these moments of all this stress and all the anxiety, all the character, all the stupidity or whatever. Then the script and this director does such a great job. You have this moment, and the camera just moves across to the room. You're going to catch up to Margot. Remember, she's our girl from the outside.
Right.
She's quietly put her coat on the back of her chair, and Elsa just kind of slinks along quietly and just rips it up from behind her and walks away. Tyler isn't even acknowledging that anything is happening to her. It's so abrupt. It's rude. It would shock you and I. I think you would probably know you should check your coat, but for her, she had on like something I think that was covering her shoulders, so she took it off. But it was, it's great because it's giving you so much more information about the dynamics of the restaurant, their rules, and of course, more importantly than anything, Tyler is a jackwagon, man. He doesn't care about her or anything. He is just, if you haven't picked up on him being an a-hole, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
And it's wonderful.
So, and then just, again, more character interactions. We get a brief little shot with the tech bros. You get more. One of them talking about being a cheater. One of them just, bragging about different financial things before the chef finally does his first speech. And what is great is, and Joker can do it, right? Joker was the kind of guy, is he has this clap, this abrupt bam. And it's like they highlight the sound. It echoes attention. It shocks everyone. And he goes into these spiels.
Welcome to Hawthorne.
Not just, and it's not just to do that for the patrons. It's for us too, because it brings us right to here. Like, okay, I need to pay attention now.
There's really not spoilers exactly in the first few dishes. We'll get through some of that because I think there's clearly a big pivot in the story, and that's where we'll have a big spoiler alert for you guys. But he's going to go through the different courses. They have graphics that come up, which is kind of fun because it kind of gives you bookmarks to kind of get a feel of things, keep your mind's eye on everything. He has a little interlude, and the first one is super fun.
Well, I like what he said. Well, in his little opening monologue, I like what he said. And again, Margot, being us, I would react the same way when he says, "Do not eat, taste."
Oh, right. Yeah, true.
Savor, indulge, but don't eat. Because I remember my first ex-wife. We went to a work function for her. I had just gotten off of work, went and picked her up, and we went right to this thing. I'm hungry. We get food brought to us, and I just start eating. And she stared a hole right through me, and I'm like, "What?" And she was like, she was like,
"Yeah,
what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm eating." And she's like, "That's not what you do here." I'm like, "Is this food?" And she's like, "Yes." I'm like, "I'm eating."
Yeah, I couldn't do it either. I would just be, you shouldn't touch those hors d'oeuvres yet. You shouldn't, like, what are they here then? Like, I can't, I'm totally with you. Like, this is Anya Taylor-Joy. Just the genius of her performances early phase is she's doing exactly what the people in the audience are thinking, right? Like, you gotta be kidding me. And I didn't get a good, I couldn't get a good shot of this dish. I don't know why it didn't come up that way.
But that's it though. But that's it. Like,
just,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
It's the first dish is basically just a rock with a whole bunch of garnishments and this little tiny scallop on top. And all these people are digging around in it and they're doing whatever. And I'm like, wait, did they just give you like basically the equivalent of like 1 or 2 bites? And there's not, all the rest of it is all just phony baloney bullcrap, man. It's like, what's happening? Like, yeah. Oh, I loved it. On the rewatch, on this rewatch especially, because I was kind of diving into more of like the metaphor of him moving you through the dishes. And I was like, oh yeah, he's like, you just came to the island. Let me show you a piece of the island. You got to see the guy trying to get scallops. And Tyler, of course, has to make a fool of himself, making his, little nod like he knows something or whatever. And, these kinds of things just keep happening over and over again. Comes to a head in the second dish, which is even more sort of insane.
It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious, but it fits this type of hoity-toity elite style. And even the tech bros are like, "You're joking, right?" Everyone's like, "Really?" Except for the food critic and Tyler and Joe, the hack, who are just kind of like, "Oh my God, this is like so creative and avant-garde. He's telling a story." And I'm like, "Oh, simps. These are the Disney shills of this movie."
Yeah. So what happens here is he goes on a spiel. He explains the metaphor of bread being one of the oldest foods. It doesn't involve harvesting animals and that kind of thing. So once you had bread, you could feed the masses, right? You could keep people from starving. And they're going to have this bread dish, but there's no bread because all these people are wealthy. You don't deserve any bread. None of you deserve to get any bread. So he basically just gives them
dippings,
these little droplets of dippings with no bread. And the tech bros throw a scene. They're like, "No, we want some bread." It's, we got it. We got what you guys are doing. And Elsa's like, "No bread for you. You get no bread."
I mean, look, the food's great and we totally get all the conceptual stuff, but could we please get a little bread, and some gluten-free for my friend as well?
No.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And then they're like, "You know who we are, right?"
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when you get Elsa in her glory, giving you like "I don't care. I don't care."
You will eat less than you want and more than you deserve. And I'm like, "Oh," so right there, that's the first tension level that you've just raised.
Of course, Margot is not having it. She's like me. I'm like, "What the heck is all of this?" And the chef comes over, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, don't you like what you have?" It's like, "Well, I don't really have any food." And then,
"Oh no, this is food."
She has her first tit for tat to hold her own against him. And I think this is what you were saying earlier, how well they can share the scene, because he makes the mistake of using the term eat. And he's like, "Well, you told me not to eat. You told me to taste. There's nothing here to, So the tit for tat is working brilliantly. The chemistry is there.
And the when she throws that back at him, he's very much offended. Like he's unnerved. Like, "Don't talk back to me."
Yeah, she's clever. She's very clever. I didn't mention her earlier. She didn't come on the boat scene, and she's in the background here. She gives a brief little introduction. This is his mother.
Yes.
He goes on a little diatribe about the mother and some traumatic instances in some childhood. She's basically the sloth in this whole metaphor of basically being the woman in the background.
I know we haven't seen a scene with him yet, and we haven't talked about him. The sommelier, the wine guy, his descriptions are just, again, ridiculous. With notes of smoke and chocolate, and with a slight taste of longing and regret. I'm like, that would make me want to. With barnyard funk, this guy, he's wonderful. He's just, again, this entire setting of this world that I'm not in, I don't want to be in, and again, Margot's looking at this entire thing like, this is absolutely absurd.
There's a 2013 Pinot Noir from Ross Cobb. We hyper-decanted it with an immersion blender to awaken it from its slumber. Slavonian oak, rich cherry and tobacco notes, and a faint sense of longing and regret.
And Tyler's just so, give me more, give me more, give me more.
I know. And she's looking at him like, she's looking at both of them like, "What are you talking about? You can't taste smoke in wine. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, you guys are just so..." It is phenomenal. Thank you for keeping that honest, because that is true. There's not a moment wasted with all these little things.
No.
All the absurdities, creating this sort of like, and you and I have,
this is a little world in and of itself.
And it's such an embodiment. And I know this one's about food, right? It creates a restaurant food thing, but it's such an embodiment of any little niche, any little world you're in. And I've talked about being, you mentioned, Disney shills, but like in the critique world, and being a film critic, going into the room when there's 12 other people that are, been invited to be in with their free passes, the people, seeing the classes of, the entitlement, the guy who writes for the newspaper, the one on TV who thinks he's actually a quasi celebrity, to the one that dresses like more of a slob than even I do. I'm like, it's almost like I'm embarrassed for the guy. Like, what are you doing? And the being part of it in a way, it is sort of like this. Like, I really do feel it. They'll say things. And I think the best example would be probably this Scarlett Johansson movie called Lucy. Did you see that? Scarlett Johansson, Lucy. Did you see that movie?
I saw it.
So
it's not great.
For me, there's these moments in that movie, especially, I don't even understand the tension, but there's moments where they just literally cut and it'll be like a Wild Kingdom segment with an animal pouncing on another animal. It's so abrupt and weird. Like, this movie was just really strange. And it doesn't work at all. And we got to see that movie with my son. And then the next day, which is kind of weird to have them back to back, but the next day we were doing like Captain America Civil War. And we're sitting there are stories abound with how these critics act and talk amongst themselves, but these people were going on and on about how great Lucy was. Oh my gosh. And the meaning and the metaphor, and it was just so ridiculous. Like, you could get that from one screen the day before. Like, you didn't have time to contemplate the metaphors and the layers that this guy was coming up with. You would think he's ready to write a book about it. It was so absurd. My son was like, this is insane, Dad. Who are these people? I said, this is how they are. They were going to insert so much stuff. They can feel like they're part of things. They can,
like Tyler.
And this is where,
like Tyler,
very much like Tyler, 100%. Yeah. So we move. Oh, that's a great shot of this guy. Where you kind of get just the absurdity of his faces. This is right when he's getting ready to say something so inane, trying to be clever, but he's not. He's a rube.
Now, in this moment where they're doing the bread dipping things, she notices something that her eye would catch. One of the dips, the emulsion, she says, is split. And he's just like agreeing with her, and he's agreeing with, oh yeah, well, there it is. Yeah, there it is. You're right. And Chef, how attuned he is to his world. He hears it and brings her a big heaping bowl of that emulsion dipping like oil type thing. Here we go. A whole like trough of it. And he just looks at her like, I heard you.
Miss Bloom, here is another broken emulsion.
Oh, come on! They catch you off guard because you in the audience, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. He's calling her out on the BS too. Like, that's a thing too that we're going to do in this movie. Like, you didn't know. Yes. You don't know where all these things are going to come from. Like, you just don't you're trying to piece it together as well. And by the way, I was going to point out how robust all this is. We're not even 30 minutes in.
No.
Just to be clear, all the stuff that's been going on, all of the characters that you know very, very well. You know so much information about all the different characters, the setup, and all the stuff's happening. We are less than 30 minutes into this movie. That's how much stuff is going on. Now we move into a big twist here when you come out with these tortillas. So this is the first level. So we right past the 30-minute mark. We now level up the tension.
Now there's a theme in this film where, as before, you got Elsa kind of elevating some tension a little bit. Each course, progressively, the tension ramps up, which this film was billed as a horror film. I don't know if I would call it a horror film. Psychological thriller, maybe, but it definitely plays with you. It just keeps you on your seat of what's coming next. Oh my God, the next course. What's next?
Yes. On these tortillas, he's explaining that they used a special machine to laser etch dark secrets or things about them. And what's fascinating, it's almost like your brain's like, wait, what? Because they include like Tyler taking a picture of the food, which just happened.
And prior to this, he explains why he's doing tacos. Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
And the way the dish is present, and he goes over that his father came home drunk one night. His mother was drunk one night, and he starts to strangle her with a phone cord. And the only way he could make him stop is to take a pair of kitchen shears and stab him in the leg to make him stop. So the chicken is presented on a rolled up phone cord with a tiny pair of kitchen shears as your knife to cut the
chicken,
to cut the meat off.
Smoked breast chicken thigh, al pastor, and our own tortillas made with heirloom masa. One of Hawthorne's signature
So
dishes.
again, you've got this very disturbed view, like, okay, that's a fun story for dinner.
Yeah. So again, you're leveling up every step of the way, every course as time's progressing. This attention and the stress, the backstory of this chef, because now you, the audience, know. Your brain is also like, well, did the film critic know this story? Does anybody know this story? Like, how did this? So you're you got to unpack a whole lot of things that are happening, and then the tortilla that comes with that chicken has these etchings in it, and of course, there's one with Tyler who he broke the rules, so he took a picture of the food, which he wasn't supposed to do. These tech bros now are being given. They literally have computer code and information and all the financial nonsense that they're doing. The
illegally.
Food critic, illegal stuff that they're doing. This is an affair that he has been having
with who? With who?
Well, it's a little bit spoilery, so we won't get too far into that. But yeah, it's that went too far back. That was those are the dots from before. So yeah. So it's a big twist, and this is where you really start to see Tyler sort of snap a little bit, because she's very dismissive. She's like, because he starts freaking out, like, should I apologize? She's like, why would you gonna apologize? Who cares? Like, what are you taking? You want to take a picture of your food? Take a picture of your food. Oh, I might have offended it, because he wants to be friends. He has this abnormal obsession.
Social right.
Yeah, it's out of control, and then, you start to see how he'll lash out at her because he's being called out on that.
There's also a moment where she's like, this is weird. Excuse me, can you take this back? And he snaps at her.
Right.
And she's like, excuse me? And he says, you're acting like a child. And she's like, excuse me? And then he's getting so upset. Well, I'm paying for this, so you better effing eat this and like it. And, oh God, this is so good. It's just the complete. He gets the food and he all of a sudden turns back into the fanboy again.
He's there. She's trying to return the food. Look at her snapping at him. One of the rudest things you could do to another human being, let alone your date in a fancy restaurant. This is insane behavior, right? So it starts to get, I would say, spoilery, because now you move past dark comedy and you start to get into. I'm with you. Horror is difficult because it's not horror in the sense of like traditional slasher movies or anything like that, but it's that sort of like psychological thriller type stuff, but it has horror elements in some ways.
It does.
So depending on your sensitivities, but this is when it starts to get crazy, because once you get to this dish and how things transition, it starts to get crazy. And I promise we'll try not to go through all of the dishes and all of the spoilers and stuff like that. We'll try to bounce back out and try to get back a little higher level. But if you haven't seen this movie, just a quick pause to recommend this movie. And I guarantee if you like it at all, go watch it again, because now you're going to level up on some of the stuff that you're going to find and enjoy again. And you're going to get even closer into like the fanboy circle that you're seeing here, where we're just like, we love this movie. Let's love this movie. I'm with you. I didn't see it in the theater. I thought it was all a foodie movie. It was like, I don't watch another foodie show, foodie movie, whatever. It didn't have good marketing because it's just them standing around. I didn't know what any of that meant. I don't remember who I heard it from, whether it be Drinker or someone else. Maybe it was you. I don't know. But I know that it took that long, and then it popped up on Max, and I watched it, and then I was mad because it didn't get an Oscar nod. I was like so angry. It got some international things here and there, but I felt like
Ralph Fiennes and Anya should have gotten at least a nod.
Yeah, I agree.
Spoilers. I'm gonna get in so much trouble now.
So with that said, spoiler warning enough, because we'll get into something where now it becomes
the mess.
vicious, and the dish is called The Mess, and it is an understatement of how we're going to go and move forward. You have some just fascinating confrontation that kind of takes place, and you see Jeremy.
Well, prior to this, I believe Margot went to go use the ladies' room, and then we see some guy walking around with wings, whatever, and she's having a cigarette, which I can relate to. I've done this before. And Chef Slovak comes into the restroom and just says, "Who are you?" "I'm Margot." No. Who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
And I've met Margot's, and you're no Margot. Like, he knows the bull crap. He can see.
That line comes later. That line comes later. But he knows that this is an element that is thwarting his plan.
You shouldn't be here. Who are you?
Why do you care?
This entire evening has been painstakingly planned. You were not a part of that plan. Are you with us or with them?
And when they come back is where we get to the Jeremy part, where he's standing out front. Right. So if you've ever watched other cooking shows, if you've ever watched, like
Hell's Kitchen,
Bear, Hell's Kitchen, Bear. If you've ever watched this stuff, you get sort of a glimpse of the nastiness and the behind the scenes, and I will admit, this is also a little bit of how they will treat one another. Like, you have different directors or different writers or other artists that will get their shot as they see fit. They call it their shot, and then they're treated as sort of like, no, you're just not ever great. You're just not good enough. And you don't get any impression. This is a weird thing. It's the movie. The movie is challenging everything you could think about our social contracts, because if it's this abusive or it gets this far, you would think this dude would just leave and go open another restaurant. Like, he hit this guy on his resume would be enough, to do his own thing.
And this was the guy when Tyler is going, "Is that a Paco jet?" This is the guy who's giving all these technical details and everything. So this guy knows his craft.
Shock is coming as things turn very dark. Not going to spoil exactly how messy that gets. Let's just say it gets messy, and there has to be cleanup. We're going to say that. And it is now interesting, because what happens is you end up with the chaos of them trying to figure out. That was the shot I wanted, of them figuring out what's real and not real. They don't want to believe what he's just eating. Nothing happened.
Oh, well, his response was, "Oh, I didn't see that happening."
Yeah. It is. So you in the audience, if you're not already like unnerved and whatever, be like, what is going on in this movie? It is a phenomenal jolt to the senses and the experience at this point.
And this is what.
And now you start to realize.
And then this is what Chef Slovak says. This is what you paid for. You paid for an experience. This is an experience. This is all part of the menu. And then, of course, the food critic is, "Oh, it's theater. It's acting." And Joe is like, I know a squib when I see one. That was not a squib," kind of thing.
It's just part of the menu. It's part of the show. This is what This is what you're paying for.
And then we move outside into some other disturbing elements. And again, we're trying not to go through every single minutia, so you would still enjoy this film. But for the next phase, you move outside. You're introduced to this woman, and you end up with another sort of like,
who is disturbing. She is disturbing.
I don't understand how if she's not been cast as like a psycho killer in some movie, someone's missed their calling, because she is just
perfect. Ice.
Yeah.
She is ice.
Man, isn't she? She is so for real. Like, yeah. So again, commentary on the socials is 2022. It is fascinating. They would include this, but it doesn't ever derail the greater cause. This is another reason why this movie works so well. That we're going to have this He's had unwanted advances that got rejected.
It's kind of a Me Too movement. It's kind of a Me Too, but it's not in your face about it.
Well, even if it is in your face in a way, it's not derailing the story, right? It also is not going to just completely ruin everything for you, because she does. She has like this smarmy look on her face when she gets to attack him back, and hurt him back, if you will.
And she enjoys it. She enjoys it,
and he takes it, and then they announce what will now become the next phase of the adventure.
Hilarious.
And that will be
I was laughing. This was
so they turn it into the dish is about men and treating women badly or whatever, but all you men then, okay, you guys get a chance to just run for it if you want. You got a 45-second head start. Our crew finds you, you got to come back, but if you want to just escape the island, you can escape the island. And there's one of the tech bros that runs before he's even done giving instructions. That's what a coward, and just gone.
To our male diners, we now offer you the chance to escape. You'll be given a 45-second head start. If they do catch... Okay.
Absolutely phenomenal commentary on today's men. Phenomenal. Right? Just even the married guy, I didn't want to spoil what happens to him, but he's kind of slow going away, but he runs away.
I'll call for help. The one, but somebody stays. It's Tyler, because he might miss.
Tyler has no desire.
No. He wants to be caught.
Yeah. They look at all the ladies. I got the shot. All right, here's a shot. Ladies look at him like, why aren't you running? And they sort of just peer pressure him into at least leaving that area. I don't think he really has any desire. He's just like, no, I'm not. So we know why. We'll learn why. But conceptually, this is all just tremendous. And you just end up with more social commentary.
Yes. Did you laugh at the guy who was found last? Gets like a little Fabergé egg.
Little chicken coop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's the little guy. He's in a chicken coop hidden like this. And they literally open. So where the nesting boxes are, you usually have a pull down so you just reach inside. You don't have to climb into the hole or whatever. So they just open the nesting box side, and you're the last one, so you got the special prize. And they had this special little egg thing they hand him, and he takes it like he's gonna eat. I'm like, oh, it's so great.
He says thank you.
It's such great commentary on wussy men and rolling over.
And then you get the ladies having a glass of wine. They're kind of talking back and forth, and then they get the conversation of, are we gonna die? And our chef is like, oh yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah, she was a part of this. Like, the whole thing about everybody dying and getting picked off and how this is all going to play out for you. Yeah, you're not getting out of here alive. We're all dying.
Right.
And it's unnerving.
And then Margot's like, well, I'm not from Omaha, Nebraska. My name's not Margot. I'm Aaron. And I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts.
Yep.
The facade is gone. Let's just...
No, that's it. We're going to have to, it all becomes real now. You're an hour in, and you better get real, because you in the audience know it's real, and you in the back know it's real. The men do their walk of shame back into the room where they're drug out of all of their... Yeah, here's the guy in the egg. Gets his little egg in the chicken coop. And then they're all trying to drug in. The one tech bro's got like a bloody face. Yeah.
My favorite part of this is when Tyler's coming in, he's picking the food off of the ladies' plates that they were like snacking on, just so he can have more of this food. This is just how obsessed he is with this. And it's the facade on Tyler is starting to wear off.
And then they're going to make sort of a point of that now, is to deal with Tyler.
I think Chef and Margot have a conversation in the chef's office first.
I'm not seeing that part yet. Did they? Either way.
Okay.
Man, we can save some of that for the folks to figure out. But
okay, sure.
It moves now to some interaction with. Oh, yes, it is. So no, it's not in the office. This is where Chef tells. So Chef comes clean on Tyler. So he
Yes.
outs Tyler. That's what happens here. And
Yes,
says,
outs her.
Tyler, everyone's going to die here tonight, but you knew that, didn't you? What happened to your other days? You know what I mean?
She
So
broke up with me. So
So
why did
I
you
got
bring someone? So why did you bring a new date? Because you don't allow single diners. Oh, so
Yeah.
you brought this gal
knowing that she's not getting out alive. Yeah, I
and
did.
she jumps across the table and just cold cocks him.
So you hired her knowing she'd die.
Yes.
Oh,
I have to
oh gosh, this scene.
The cinematography is fantastic.
Wonderful.
And then they just let it play out. Smiles at him like, that's fine. And she's just like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Right.
And then they're gonna give
Because
him his
you're
shot.
You're part of this world. You're part of this world.
Yeah.
You're a chef.
Yeah. And I do think it is phenomenal, right? Because it is the kind of thing that, because I've said it before. There are no statues made for a film critic, right?
No.
So, you know what I mean? So, listen, I tried my hand at some indie film and I did some screenwriting and stuff like that, but I never made a living at it. I don't know how the industry works enough to get that dirty into it and make it happen. Fair enough. Nor do I pretend that I would have the training and skill set or life choices to be John Carpenter or Chris Nolan.
Or the lack of morals to survive in that world.
Yeah. So again, the life choices, and again, it's not like I try to, it's hard to do what we do and not convey an arrogance about it when you're being critical, even when you like something. Like I just did a review of something that I actually like, but I was explaining why it's a mess for the greater scheme and picture of things, because what does this got to do with it? Why are we even doing this? Again, this is a film that's giving you social commentary on art. It happens to be about cooking in this way, the artistry of this,
Consumerism,
but in general,
fan culture.
Yeah, toxic fans, obsessive fans, the glutton consumers who are just consuming anything and everything. They don't even know what they're consuming. They're just consuming. The tech bros who think that we didn't really want to spoil all of the tech bro stuff, but when people are giving you money, they start to pull strings.
Yes.
Media would be a great example. I know for a fact, right? Oh, you can't talk about that. You can't cover this news story. You can't say this. You can't say that. So that stuff 100% happens. And you have trade-offs that you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
And here, our boy Tyler gets his chance to sort of shine in the kitchen. He's calling his shots here to what he's going to make. His hand is shaking. And yeah. It's Taylor's full crap.
Well, it's then when Chef takes a bite, he's like, wow, that's really bad, and just looks up and just this evil stare at him.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is. Oh,
awesome.
Oh, because Tyler's hoping to hear this is really good because he's holding it, and then he hears bad, and his world's crushed at this point. And he whispers something in Tyler's ear.
Yeah, and that's a great sequence because you can see the emotions, you can see everything float away. He walks off in a completely different direction from the dining room and just kind of goes off camera back there. And then they just spin their wheels for a quick second. So we're going to have a little bit of time with Margot, and of course we have to have a little interaction with George, so we understand George is like, what do I have to do? What did I do to all? Why am I here with all this stuff? And it was like,
you made a crappy
you get
film.
the back.
You made a
And
crappy
it happened
film.
to be that Chef's day off, and you ruined.
Yes.
And I think what's interesting there is it is oversimplified as, hey, I made a crappy film, right? And the film does do that. The film does. I'm not the director.
Right.
However, there is something to be said, as you and I repeatedly talk about. You are asking people to go to a theater or a restaurant or a theme park,
Right.
even like museum
A wrestling
costs
show.
and stuff. Like
A
yeah,
wrestling show.
anything, whatever it
Anything.
is. There's like museums in Orlando when my wife and I were traveling, and we thought about just popping in at something. And we're like, the price point is so insane now. There's no
Yeah,
popping in for some of these things. You're asking that investment level, so you get your one chance to go.
Right.
And a sporting event is a great example, because my wife and I were just talking about the difference of these athletes, particularly in basketball, where they have game management now. They just won't play every game. And now you have this rash rise of minor injuries. Like, they'll be out for a week, but they don't really, it's like that wouldn't heal in a week. Finger injuries are on the rise, like little things.
Hangnails
Just
or something.
that was exactly what she joked about with hangnails. But I always remembered Michael Jordan had made the comment about playing every game. Why? He's like, well, because there's a guy in the third deck working 60 hours a week at a union job who's saving so he and his kid can come. And if I'm not out there, he saved all this time for me to see me play. I'm playing for that guy.
Right.
And the film, even though it oversimplifies our Steven Seagal analogy, if you made a crappy movie, I had my one day off to be entertained and get a break, and I had to sit through your garbage film, your garbage, you pretentious, untalented hack. You disgust me. And yeah, you're here.
Right.
Now, I will say, do you have a little bit of a problem with the fact that the assistants drug along too? Can I have at least a little bit? Because I'm like, she's not as complicit. She's complicit in the problem, but she's not as complicit as
he asked where she went to school, and she said Brown, and
then he says, well, did you have student loans?
Student loans? No, my parents paid. Sorry, you're dying.
Because she's uber rich, pretentious, elitist who just works in the system, perpetuating the system.
Right.
Yeah, it was great. It's done so well to give you these moments of pause where you're like, well, wait a minute, let me piece together things. And then they address it. They don't leave you. As far as I'm picking up, I don't have a bunch of holes or plot holes, loopholes, or things like that.
Now, there are some folks who take these social commentary a little too far, that it's a total eat the rich type commentary. I guess you could make some draws to that. I look at it more as, again, this is about toxic fans, mass consumerism, fan culture, anything that you are passionate about, you're going to experience these elements. I mean, if you go, I'm sure we've both been to cons where there's someone who's got the knick-knack of every little thing just to say that they've seen something. And it's like, okay, you're trying too hard.
Just everything about it, because if that was true, then why would he include the staff into this mission? Why? But because I think it's more about you as the creator, you as the artiste, what destroyed your joy. And because at the end, we'll get briefly to that, because, it's the things that take all that away. Sure, there is an eating of the rich, because the rich have this big influence over the arts in this manner.
Correct.
Whether it be at the corporate level, the consumers. So again, I'm just going to continue to draw analogies to this, because I think it fits every one of these scenarios. That's why this movie works. So right now, massive problem in the collectible industry, particularly in comic books and sports cards. Why? Because there are these massive money people finding the one of one that will spend $15 million to say they have it. You know what I mean? You'll find these people who are chasing variant covers and doing all this. So it's saturating the market for these type of chases and this sort of FOMO, like a lottery ticket kind of mentality. And it's lessening everything else. And it's not allowing for any collectability. There's no generation coming behind us, Joker, like my grandkids included, who want like a binder or sports card or a
Yeah.
box of loose, floppy comic books. They could care
They want the one
absolutely less.
They want the
And
one-on-one.
if they're into it, it's
Right.
it's not for reading. It's a collectible. It's for flipping invest. And I'm not totally ruling out that I hate that, because I do a little bit of that too. But there's no appreciation of it as the art. The pushback for me to eat the rich thing is it doesn't equate to every single thing. Like his
Correct.
mother's not stereotyped that way. The mother's just this drunk, fall down sloth of a human being from his past. You know what I mean? There's pieces of things that don't add up to the eat the rich thing. It is a piece of it, but I think it's the destruction of the creative spirit or whatever. And I do see this. I wanted your take on. I feel this a lot. If you listen to interviews, you ever heard like John Carpenter talk about Memoirs of a Visible Man, what a disaster of an experience it was for him, because they hired Chevy Chase. Of course, they want a comedy, they want Christmas Vacation. And of course, he's like, I want to be a dramatic actor. So he's trying to play it serious, but it's not serious. And it's like this back, and he's in the middle. And it's like a joyless experience at that point. Because now you're not really creating. You're managing the fires, you're managing the attitudes, you're managing the egos, you're managing the money people. And it kind of fit. And it's just one low-lying fruit example. There's millions of examples of these, another one would be the wives talking about this. Remember the Will Smith Wild West remake where they had the giant mechanical spider?
Yes.
And I was explaining the backstory of how Kevin Smith had been working on a Superman movie, and the studio said they were only interested in keeping the financing if they'd put a giant mechanical spider in it, and they couldn't understand that would last about 4 seconds against Superman. Like, it was silly. It's like it's not even a thing. Like, Superman doesn't have problems with mechanical spiders. It's so much of that ruins this. And I say this meaning, I don't know about you, what takes the wind out of your sails? Because for me, when I have tech issues, takes the wind out of my sails. If I'm having too much stress or maybe a fight or something like that going on, I can't get into a creative spirit. It takes it all away from me. Right. So I don't know. What about you?
I would something that just, I think when I've oversaturated myself, because with my wrestling commentary and all the content that I do with that, I consume so much content that at about Thursday or Friday, I'm like, I need to not watch anything wrestling. I need to just get out of this space for a few hours just so I can come back to it and appreciate and actually be level-headed, or else my commentary is going to reflect the negative spot that I'm in. And I want to praise stuff that deserves praise, but if I'm not in that spot, everything just comes out as critique.
Okay, that's fair. You definitely could feel like work. Feel like work. That's part of it, because it is work, and it can be if you can't keep enough joy in the others. And for me, that has definitely been a struggle through the entire YouTube journey and all that, because there's times where you don't get enough good stuff to talk about. People aren't enjoying. Hey, it's just good.
Which is why I did a full content shift.
Yeah.
To what I do now. So let me hold back on one thing really quicker, because there's something that we missed. I mentioned with the girls around the table, kind of, okay, this is happening here. The wife, Judith Light, the mom from Who's the Boss, looks at Margot, who we now know is named Aaron, and says, "You know my husband, don't you?"
Mm-hmm. So the affair, the old man and the affair situation has a disturbing twist to it, to not only Margot, but also what the old man is asking to do and what actually gets done.
Which we're not going to spoil that part, but
correct. It is lots of layers there. It also is the fact that you're also clear after the situation with Tyler that the chef has made some moves here to see Margot as something different, as an outsider.
Correct.
And you have a confrontation. He kind of is giving her, not necessarily out, but he's allowing this movement to happen that you don't, you're like, okay, this is getting weird. Something's going on.
I need
Lisa,
you to go to the cabin and get this, or go to the smokehouse.
to get the barrel, and
Right.
it creates a confrontation with Elsa. And Elsa's like, he never asked me to do that. Like, she knows something's wrong. Like, you can feel a negative energy that leads to a conflict that is really quite
graphic.
Yeah, it's intense. And yeah, it's intense. But again, lots of credit, because I don't know, I would have thought Anya Taylor-Joy could have pulled this off as well. She is phenomenal in this as well.
And then Anya learns something about Julian Slovic, that there was a point where he did love what he does, where he wasn't always this hard stoic figure, and that'll be answered a little, that pays off later. But
yeah, we don't want to get, I don't want to also spoil all those details. It's all over the internet though, so if you haven't watched this, I try to get as hollow, earmuffs on to not see some of these pieces. She goes back into the room. She had found a radio and radios for help, and he's basically just giving us more conversation about him and his life before you end up with some more shenanigans there in the room with this person that comes in. They think they're going to be rescued, and it turns sideways as well. They're all just hollow, fake humans. Like, they think they're going to play along, or told to play along, whatever, and they all are like, no, he's going to kill me. It was immediate. Like, they are just not learning anything.
No,
nothing has changed.
Nope.
No one. You would think, after seeing one or two of these things that happen in front of your eyes, you're like, I can't be like that. You're absolutely right. I treated you badly. I took advantage of you. This is insane. You're not getting that in this movie. This movie is holding up a mirror to the worst characteristics that we have
of society, right?
100%.
Well, just the worst characteristics, just the worst personality traits that we all have in ourselves. We just choose to indulge them or not.
Yep. And then, so and this is a pretty big spoiler, but it's the only way we can kind of close the movie out. So if you're okay so far, fine. But let me just say, if you haven't seen it, you don't want this spoiled. I get it. And again, if you want to look up more details, the Tantalus is a Greek god. You can go further into this analogy and metaphor as I did, but it's the name of this hamburger restaurant thing that he worked at as a kid, as very young. There's a little photo that Margot sees, and it's the only time you've seen him smile. So
and then she gets his attention by flipping the entire dynamic.
Yep.
She stands up
in the room.
She claps.
She does the big clap, draw attention to herself, and she basically does this whole, I'm calling BS on this whole thing. I haven't gotten anything really good. What would you like, ma'am? I would really like a cheeseburger. So
and his face lights up.
He is there meticulously making this gorgeous looking burger.
It looks so good.
Oh my gosh. And they agree to like $10 for the price, $9.95, so it's all done legit.
A double cheeseburger with onions, American cheese on there. Oh,
yeah. They just do a great job doing all this. And then she's having the burger, and then she basically says, okay, I think my stomach's a little bigger than I thought. I'd like it to go, please, if I can go. And then he brings her a little gift bag and the whole thing, and everybody just kind of has to watch her walk out the room because she's been allowed to leave.
Because she doesn't belong there. Mm-hmm.
She doesn't belong there. And if you remember back, they weren't allowed to have bread. Remember why they weren't, the whole poor versus and they weren't allowed to discuss the menu. The photos are not allowed. All of the different rules, every rule is thrown up in the air for Margot because she does not belong there.
Right.
She's different.
And she's also the one person who will call him out. She has stood up to him, and she has won.
and she saw through the facade of years and years of accolades and accomplishments and being this, massively successful Hell's Kitchen level chef that everybody on the planet knows, aspires to be, and wants to eat. What made him most happy? When he just made a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he was just churning out burgers, and everyone was just like, "This is the greatest burger I've ever had." That kind of stuff.
Sometimes it's the simple things.
Yeah, and I know, again, I'm making a lot of weird analogies along the way, but I think Joker's connected the dots for you guys too. So for me, I have like a dozen things, and one of them I know you agree with is, if I'm ever just remotely like you said, I don't want it to feel like work. I don't want it to feel like I don't have joy anymore or happiness, whatever it is. Batman animated series is on that list for me. I can just watch some Batman animated series and I'm just joyful and happy again. It's just one of those things. And there's lots of things like, Back to the Future does it for me too, right? There's lots of things, you know what I mean? I've had a renewed fondness of like Blues Brothers and Smokey and the Bandit. I just like, oh my gosh, this road trip era of stuff was just full of joy and laughs. And
what did I find the other day? What did I find the other day on Amazon? On Prime. Oh, He-Man. Old He-Man. He-Man.
Yeah. So find that for yourself, folks. Find those things that you can go back to. It only has to be a couple things. You can just pop this on and make you happy, right?
Yeah. Keeps you
back
sane.
Back to the close of the movie. Really, no other real spoiler. I just want to try to just make a mention of it.
It is so ridiculous that it's awesome. It's so ridiculous. It's awesome.
Yeah. So at this point, Margot has sort of escaped. So now you're kind of left to, and it becomes almost like a satire. It just becomes so insane. The final dish is a satire of all the serious dishes. The final dish is the most offensive food in his opinion, which is a s'more.
A s'more.
He talks about the cracker, and basically he makes
processed
them all
chocolate, sponge sugar, and just
he makes them all wear like jackets of marshmallow, and they've got chocolate on their heads. Yeah, chocolate fez. And so these marshmallow stoles, as you know, guys, because you know what happens with a s'more, is he drops the ash and the whole place is going to go up in flames. And it is absolutely spectacularly visually done.
And they're thanking him because he goes on this purifying fire. We must be cleansed and come out anew. And they're thanking him. Thank you, chef. Thank you, chef.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. It's amazing. And like you said, the visual work that they did with the floor, with the sauces and the graham cracker.
The stuff's oozing down their face. And then in the star of our show, our escapee, she's on the boat eating her cheeseburger, and then quite literally wipes her face with the menu.
Right.
It is truly great commentary on so many things, so many layers. You can draw, like I said, there's Greek god references, the 7 deadly sin references. You can get into, there's a Judas goat that were in this scene with Elsa. Goats, the Judas goat is famous for, leading someone to slaughter. I mean, there's so many things. Every time you watch it, you'll pick up more. And I think that's what makes it great. It is probably not historically a 5 out of 5 movie, but it's right there at that 4.5 for me. It's literally that 9 out of 10.
It's
so good.
It's easily one of the best films of 2022.
100% 2022. Yeah.
22 was a good year for movies, at least in my opinion.
No, I agree. And I think some others I didn't mention earlier, I'd mentioned now because we mentioned RRR, and we've got some of that kind of stuff that was happening around, Top Gun Maverick was coming out, Northman's coming out, but you also have things like the Pinocchio on Netflix by Del Toro. I thought was a fantastic film that everybody ignored. I think the All Quiet on the Western Front shocked people because it beat RRR. It was a phenomenal interpretation of that. I know people don't like that film anyway, but I think 2022 delivered really well. And the menu is sadly not given its
enough
just
love.
desserts, s'more and pun included. I
Yes.
definitely meant that on purpose. So, yeah, great stuff. It's a film that I think you would enjoy so much more. They're a decent film. 2022 also had like there was the year of what Everything Everywhere All at Once and the Banshees of Inisherin and that's all fine. They were fine. They're not my thing. I didn't really care for them as much as I think most people did. Fablemans and Elvis were quite overrated, but they were okay.
Right.
But this has held up.
Oh, yeah.
Such a phenomenal rewatchable experience. You've watched it a few times now.
I've probably watched it about half a dozen times.
I'm
Easily.
interested to get this in front of the missus to get a new fresh take from her as well. I would love to hear from people about some other ideas and movies of things that we're not throwing against that list. And we should talk about more in these circles to talk about good things. Because that's the thing that most people are saying is there's not good things. And then they will find something that's mediocre and try to make it great or make it seem like it's great. And there's not any rewatchability for some of these things. And they're just so bland or pointless or, the
mediocre.
commentary is it. Yeah. This is not that. This is very interesting, very layered. He teased it earlier, folks. Make sure you check out the description. I'll have the little tag there. Go over to Joker Voice and you get that. If you're into wrestling and some pop culture stuff, he does a lot of that. He is also on some other shows. So make sure we let you know that he's out there doing his thing, man. He's really, really a great brother in arms at doing this, man. It's a lot of fun. Great to call him friend and good to have you, man.
That. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to come and just talk stuff.
That's what I love doing. It's what we do if we were hanging out together, folks. We would just probably just be sharing those bites of burger and just talking about who knows what and just having a good time in each other's company. And that's what this movie is. It's just one of those movies you can just have fun talking about and enjoy each and every time. And that's what makes it great, in my opinion. Definitely of the last 5 years, 6 years, you would enjoy it. So check it out. Well, folks, listen, be blessed, talk hard. Until next time, I am Pops.
Toodles.
Thank you for trying.